Hey guys, so I was just thinking sometimes we get ourselves into situations or into realities that we feel like we have to box ourselves into that reality. So, for instance, one time I was in this reality that was kind of like a loop when it came to money, and it just seemed like money was never coming or it was just hit or miss, like it just wasn't that. And when that started happening, what I did was I just got settled into that reality. And what I mean by that is playing by that reality's rules, like really trying to manifest my way out of that reality instead of choosing my desired reality. And one day I was just sitting and I was thinking, like, I'm in this loop because it's not true about me. First and foremost, I already have everything. So it's an illusion, but the me dimming myself down to stay in that reality, what I realized was my belief in time, my belief that things took a certain amount of time before they were done, or just my belief that things had to go in a certain order. So it just seemed like this had to happen, and this had to happen, and this had to happen before I could receive the amount of money that I desired. And all these things, that belief in deadlines and all those things were what was holding me back from just assuming in the I am and not from this little 3DU. And when I say little 3DU, I feel like maybe we should come up with another name for that too, maybe like demigod or something like that, because when I say little you, I'm just distinguishing between source power and you, but you are one with that. So you are all power. So when I say this little you, I don't want you to think that you're some like little thing that just is. And it's like, no, you are all power. You have the same power that God has. So you're one with God and you share your life with God. So I really just wanted to tell you guys that. But like I was saying, once I dropped that and I realized that my belief in time and all those things were holding me back, I instantly quantum jumped. And that's when I made that $10,000. I received it like within 4 hours. So I have a video here on my channel about that. But it was literally within that time space when I just realized that I'm thinking that time means something here. And so this is what I want to talk about today, because there's a lot of people that will say like so many different things, but instant manifestation is definitely real. Like I talked about yesterday about falling out of space and time when you're operating as I am instead of the stories that you have and the stories you feel like you have to change and all these things that you believe in are what's holding you back from actually making that jump. So I'm going to start off with this quote here that I came across. I really love it because it sums up a lot. And it says, when considered the nature of time and understood, there is in truth no past, only a memory of the past. Blink your eyes and the world you see next did not exist when you close them. Therefore, he said, the only appropriate state of the heart is joy. The sky you see now, you've never seen before. The perfect moment is now. Be glad of it. And that is so true because there only is this one moment now. This is all that there is. Although it seems that we are constantly going to sleep and we're waking up, and then there's this day, there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all these days. It is made, time is made for this 3D us. Time is made for this 3D us. But in order to get your manifestation quicker, you must transcend time and space by going to that source, going directly to I am, like we talked about a little yesterday in my robotic affirming video, but I really want to cover it a little bit more today. So, say for instance, for if you're someone that is having a money situation, SP situation, whatever this is, take it and apply it to your situation. But say that something happened with money and you're constantly finding that you have to manifest money, or you're feeling like you're in this loop where money is just not coming in. And what you do is you make yourself comfortable in that reality and you start taking on the tones of that reality. So you settle into it and you go by the rules of it. And then you're thinking, okay, well, I have to manifest my way out of it. So you're thinking you have to impress your subconscious. You have to do all these things in order to move out of it instead of just going directly to the source. And it's not a linear movement, but actually a vertical one. So I'm going to share with you guys because my dogs, they ate my my math that I had for you guys planned out that I shared with you on my IM video. So I'm going to sit you guys back here again and we're going to kind of go over this again. All right. So again, you guys, so I drew it out a little bit better this time. So right up here we have I am. I am implies everything here, you guys, this triangle. But down here is you, this 3D you. And here are all the things that you think are holding you back in this dense lower 3D energy. So thoughts, beliefs, times, limitations, all those things are pretty much what is holding you back in the I am not and I cannot have or I don't have right now or I need to make something happen. And within here is awareness or consciousness within every single timeline or something that you desire, your specific person, the money, the life that you want. The awareness is right here, all here. But you are making yourself bound by linear time here, thinking that you are having to move in a linear fashion to get to your manifestation. So someday you'll make yourself comfortable. This is what we do. We shrink ourselves as the source and we think that we're this little us down here and we think like we have to work our way towards something. Instead, when people get that instant manifestation, like I talked about in my video yesterday, it is dropping all of the stories that you feel are holding you back, dropping all the beliefs of I am not or I don't have or all these things and going straight up directly to the source. I am who I say I am, which implies all things here. So you're able to choose, but from a higher level, not just from this level down here, thinking that all these things need to be fixed. And what's with this too is a lot of us, we think that when we choose another version of ourselves that doesn't have the money problems or the SP problems, we think that all these things down here come with us to this next level. And that's not true because every version that exists of you, they have had a completely different life. So sometimes when your specific person comes back and they have no recollection of whatever you guys went through in a breakup or whatever, or revision or whatever you do, and the person doesn't remember, it's because in that reality, you guys never had any arguments. You had a perfect relationship, or you had no money problems at all, or whatever this is within this conscious awareness. So you must become aware of another version of yourself or your situation, but as the I am. So it's moving up in awareness, in consciousness, seeing yourself as you desire to be, instead of seeing yourself in this linear fashion, which we use the affirmations and all these things down here as this person to get rid of all of this shit down here. But that's not the case. We drop all of that and we go straight back to the source because this person has their own story, has their own thoughts, has their own beliefs that have nothing to do with the new version or another version that you're going to assume for yourself. So it's never this movement down here where we think we have to go from this fashion, from the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. Although you can do that for the experience, but time itself is for the 3D us, the 3D experiencer, but it's still just an illusion. It doesn't exist. So we're here down here in this simulation thinking that time itself means something when it means nothing because I am exists outside of time. It's before anything. It's before you add on anything else to I am. It just is. It is the moment. There is only one moment. So I hope you guys understand that. So yes, this 3D you, my experience changes within this 3D as in time, as in keeping time for that. But when you have that instant manifestation, all is now because there only is this now moment. And you technically only have one life, one reality. Okay, so A Course in Miracles says that you have not two realities, but one, nor can you be aware of more than one. Forget not then that idols must keep hidden what you are, not from the mind of God, but from your own. And I really like this because time is an idol. Time is something that us, when we're operating down here and not connected to source, we believe that time is the power, that we have to go against this time or settle into this timing. That's why when you're manifesting something and you're like, it's been 2 years, it's been months, or it's been whatever, that keeps you down here in the denser energy, and you find that it's hard to remove yourself from it because you're bound by time, and it is an idol, and it's something that you hold above, or something that you feel beholding to more than you are the source of your life. And this is what I really want you to understand, because we think sometimes we have to affirm and do all these things, and not to say that those things aren't fun or they don't work. They do. They keep you on the right track, but you don't have to reprogram your subconscious or do all these things when you're taking that vertical jump towards I am and being in the all, being outside of space and time. You get to choose. And it's not about trying to change anything down there, but it's the accepting of it as just one reality out of many. And the more you become aware of who you are as source, you're rising in consciousness, rising in awareness, and rising above time. I believe Neville has a quote. I will put it up here on the screen somewhere, where he says that you will walk suspended above reality or something like that. And what that means is, when you are rising in consciousness as awareness, thinking of yourself from the higher perspective, thinking the mind of God, thinking as God, thinking in that way, you're walking suspended above time. And that's why you have those instant manifestations. You have those jumps come in, because everything exists here and now. We may look like we are jumping to different timelines, but to the mind of the all, it's all one life. It's not two lives. It's not all these other lives. It's just one continuous now moment, because that's all there is. And everything that you want exists here and now. But you rising in consciousness, you'll become more aware. Things will start to pop in and out, move in and out of the now moment, but it's still just this one moment. And I remember I was listening to an interview a long time ago from Prince, and he said that he didn't believe in birthdays because time is a trick. So yes, time is a trick of this 3D simulation, or this matrix as they like to call it, that keeps you bound to the body, keeps you bound to mind, keeps you bound to thoughts, and all these things that you think that you somehow have to work out in order to get on this journey to being who you want to be. And not to say that if you go on that linear journey that you won't get there, but you're already there. You're already there. So when you rise in consciousness and assume the position of the source and go on with your life thinking the thoughts of God and moving in that, I'm telling you, you will be there in no time. This is how instant manifestation works. So you don't have to settle in your reality. Settling in your reality meaning that you are accepting. And when I say accept, I mean, like, yes, you can accept what is as one potential possibility, but you're not accepting yourself as the source of your reality, that this is coming through you. What you're assuming, that it's still God doing it. Even though you're down here in the dense energy, it's still God doing it, but it's you as the operant power, the little 3D you, that is keeping your awareness on the time and the thoughts and the I have to do this and I have to reprogram my subconscious mind, or I have to move through all these things, and all this stuff has to somehow work out before I could get there, before I could assume that I'm the source. So you see, you're still trying to work your way up towards being source no matter what, when you're already it, you guys. You're already it, right? So I just really wanted you guys to understand that, because that is the one thing that keeps you from jumping and changing realities, parallel realities, and switching over to your ideal reality. But it's the keeping yourself boxed in a reality that you think is the only reality, and then believing in deadlines and times and all these things. And I will put the quote up here on the screen, but I think it's from A Course in Miracles, but it says that if you are something about, if you are believing in idols, which I believe time is an idol, then you must fail. You must fail. You must fail, because time does not exist to God. Time does not exist to God. So when you're trying to meet your deadlines, and they are a deadline, you're typically not going to meet them when you are going from that I have to figure out how to make it happen. But remember, you guys, when we say that it's here now and it's done, the reason why a lot of you do meet the deadline and you're like, oh, but it's done now, it's because you jumped to that reality where it was already done. But you've had to rise in consciousness to be aware that it's already done, that it's already done in the mind of the all. You just have to choose a new version of yourself and never bring along with you the thoughts and the beliefs of I am not or I don't have, because they don't exist. So you're keeping yourself stuck in an illusion. When you keep yourself stuck in a reality or a box where you feel that you got to work your way out of. And this is just, I know a lot of people will say, I know a lot of people have a lot to say about whatever, but I'm just telling you from my personal experience how I make leaps in my life, how my clients have been making leaps, how I've been sharing with you guys a lot of the success stories where people are getting that instant manifestation. It is not a linear movement. It is going higher in consciousness, in vertical consciousness, because whether you're down here or wherever you are, it's still God doing it. But you, as the operant power, this 3D you're the one that believes in the time. You're the one that has the doubts and all these things. And not to say doubts won't be there, all these things, but your belief in time, that time is something that you have to follow, that this has power over you, or whatever people are doing out here has power over you. That's the belief that you are holding on to that keeps you from rising in consciousness and in awareness, and really just choosing from God, as God, with God, that your life is the way that you want it to be by choosing to look through another point of view. All right. So I just really want you guys to understand that you are not bound by time. You're only bound to it when you believe it in, that it's something that's over you. And that's just for this 3D us down here. We think that we're beholding to time, but time is just something that we could experience as fun when we realize that we are the I am, getting beyond space and awareness. So remember what I told you guys yesterday, how I live in awareness as much as I can, is I'm always making sure that I'm dropping the stories that Autumn has that feels limiting or that is limiting. And then I make sure that I am aware as much as I can to drop the filter of Autumn, that I'm still just an idea as well within the mind of source. So that's why it's always an internal movement to shift to the reality that you desire, the one where you already have the money, the SP, whatever it is, and to think from there, and to never carry the feelings or the moods or the thoughts, beliefs, the times, the limitations, the whys, and all these things, because that belongs to a whole nother version of you that has problems that you don't even have in this new version. So you must allow yourself to drop it all and rise in consciousness. Go higher. You have to rise. That's how you transcend, you guys. You don't transcend by going through this in a linear fashion. You drop it all and then you realize you go all the way to the top, to the source. I am that I am. I am who I say I am. And I am is beyond space and time. It was before anything was here, beyond this man-made time. Okay? So I want you guys to know that. We're going to talk more about this, but I just wanted to give you a little introduction to that. But you're not boxed in. Don't box yourself in your reality, okay? So just like my video, if you want a more kind of like example, I will post a video below where I talked about in my one of my money videos. I was saying that some people get bound to their money problems when they're thinking from I only have this instead of I'm always receiving. So if you're in the state of I only have this, or my SP is doing this and it's been this much time, and then it's this, it's that, it's all these limitations in place, you're keeping yourself stuck in a box, a limitation, an illusion that's going to be on a continuous loop. But it's not true about who you are, you guys. All right. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Imagination, the mind of the all, the internal movement. It's an internal movement. You shift internally to the mind of the all. Drop out of this time and space, you guys. Drop out of it. Drop out of the stories. Drop out of all of it. And if the doubts come, it's not you as the source that's having doubts. You're just aware of the doubts existing. And it is this 3D you that has the doubts. It's not you as source. You're aware of the doubts, aware of the fears. But that doesn't mean that they're going to manifest. But if you buy into them and you believe them more than you believe that you're the source, then you will continue to be in that illusion. All right. So I love you guys. I will catch you guys on my next video. Bye.